Making movies is hard enough as it is, especially when you have to start thinking about crew, locations, budget, and then writing a script that actually works. This was something that Jackie and I faced last winter when trying to make a movie for under $500 that we were both excited about.
You're eating it?
Look over your shoulder.
We figured out this idea that excited us, and maybe you guys watched the behind the scenes on this, but this was a series called Echoes, a movie that was kind of the blend of Hunger Games meets Black Mirror, both of our interests smashed together into a sci-fi epic web series. We decided to go out and shoot the first episode of this series, shooting stuff on a one wheel, Jackie running in 500 different situations, and building some weird, I don't know, like stuff you'd make at Halloween as a kid. The final result of episode 1 was absolutely insane. And after we shot episode 1, we had the confidence to go out and make more. So I bought more of these jumpsuits, brought some friends out, and we shot episode 2, 3, 4, and 5, having wigs and duplication effects, visual effects.
It's believable.
And even getting like carried away with cool like one take scenes. Overall, this was a demo reel series that we shot for under $500, keeping everything low budget by shooting in a hybrid formula where I tried not to get any camera gear on the ground. So no stands, lights, crew members, manning the camera myself, similar to the way a documentary was shot, but all through the lens of a gimbal and my FX3. This is how we were able to slice the budget into like 1% of what a short film should cost and get really epic stuff. But by the end of our shooting process, I realized there was one thing that was missing, and that was a story. Once the film was cut together, and even though the footage looked so good, the biggest thing that was missing out of this entire project was a script that an audience wanted to see. They were just really awesome sequences that didn't really tie together. What ended up happening was the complication of getting more actors and writing out a full script became too overwhelming. Other projects came to our door, and so this epic series that we were so excited about went in a hard drive, and I threw it in my drawer and just didn't see the light of day for about a year. So Jackie and I had the idea to go back to camera and shoot the rest of this web series we started filming a year ago in the winter.
When I say go, Jackie, you're gonna draw it back, and Genesis, you're gonna fall into this position, okay?
Wait. We can work together. We don't need to hurt each other.
To give it production value, to make it feel like a bigger movie, I'm doing like the Christopher Nolan approach. When he shot his movie Following, he shot all of his exteriors and all his public spaces type stuff like a documentary. So no big footprint, no stands, lights, tripods. But then they went in and shot in studio for the opening scene of the movie, which hooked people. It gave people the big production value. And so we're actually kind of stealing that technique here. So the full movie Echoes, to be able to shoot those big epic scenes, we shot it kind of very run and gun, almost all on the gimbal, and it was giving us that awesome big Hollywood scale. And because the shots were so epic, the production value of like great lighting and insane camera settings kind of didn't matter as much because the scenes were so compelling and the performance was so good by Jackie, who's behind the camera. And feel free to like find different angles too. You don't have to be a human tripod. In studio style stuff. And what I've got is the small rig 450D light. What? What?
I'm a good human tripod.
It's better than Meat Puppet. Most actors get that.
I know, you told me that.
Now we're kind of doing the in-studio stuff, the kind of stuff where we get to make it look a little bit more pretty. So I've got the small rig 450D, which is a very big bright light that small rigs gave us, and I'm trying to combat the sun right now because I want to highlight these windows, and the only way to be able to get the detail out of the windows with the setup that I've got is by using a big bright light on the inside, and I want to get a little bit of backlight on Jackie. Because I don't have a sound person, but I really need the clean audio, basically shoot this like a documentary interview where we've got the camera locked off, we've got nice boom audio, which is going to get us crispy audio of Jackie. A couple things that we added into the mix with our setup is I put on this aperture light dome in front of the 400D. But we've got the honeycomb grid on it, and it sounds yummy. We've got the, I just can't take the honeycomb grid thing seriously. So we've got the grid on it, and then I've got this diffusion that I kind of been bouncing in between. So in some of the takes we use diffusion, and the other takes we use the grid. I think this worked really well for the close-ups, and harsher light kind of works better for your wide, not because it looks better, but usually with lots of devices of diffusion in the way, it takes up way more space. So if I put this in front of here, it just cut out a lot of our frame. And then halfway through the scene, when we stopped using their wide setup, I decided to put a light in the little bulb here that we got from IKEA. And it's just the X60 inside of here. It's been running at 60% for the last probably 40 minutes, and it's only got 3 bars. It's only burned through 1 bar battery, but we put it over top, and like, look at that. It's such a cool production design element.
The closer I get, the more I want it.
What do you want?
Control.
Control over what?
Myself. You.
Artlist has this new application where it has this AI voice generation where you can plug in a script and have different voices read it out. But it's not just like your regular voices that computers generate. It has size and breathing and even room tone added to it to make it sound a little bit more real.
Zach had no money to make his film Echoes.
Zach had no money to make his film Echoes.
And those added layers of detail make it feel almost uncomparable between what's real and what isn't.
But you can be stronger.
I can be stronger.
Who are you now?
We had this dialogue that we wanted another character to speak to Jackie with throughout our scene. I plugged it in, and after going through a couple of voice profiles, the final result was like scary good.
What do you want? What do you want?
What do you want? What do you want?
Now, one thing, I know some of you are gonna feel weird about AI stuff. I think as an independent filmmaker who can't afford to have a massive crew on a lot of his projects, what I do is go to the resources that are the easiest access and most available so I can create ideas to create more jobs, which will then hire on real people. And if you guys wanna take a look at Artlist and all of the cool things, whether it's their music, stock footage, or this new AI application, you can go hit a link in the description below and get 2 months free on an annual plan. Honestly, Artlist has become one of my favorite platforms because it's all the resources I need to download as a filmmaker under one roof. So last night I stayed up until 2 a.m. editing this mammoth trailer for Echoes, and I realized that was the missing linchpin. While we didn't have an entire series to cut together to make something that felt full and fleshed out, I wanted to have this project completed. So making it into a trailer, using those voiceovers to tie it together, I really think was the secret sauce. I'm so stoked with how this video turned out. As you can tell, there's a lot of work put into the edit. Let me know if you guys want to learn more about editing. I don't know if that's something that y'all are interested in, but yeah, I'm really proud with how this video turned out. Thank you guys so much for watching it to this point. And now here's the little treat. Here's the film. Here's the trailer. Here's all of our work. A year's worth of work. Procrastination. A hard drive that was just about to die. A little dramatic, as you can tell. I didn't sleep last night, but here is the video. I hope you guys enjoy.
I keep having the same dream. I'm being hunted. The place is different, but the outcome is the same.
What's hunting you?
I am. The closer I get, the more I want it.
What do you want?
Control.
Control over what?
Myself. You. Everyone.
How will you get this control?
By destroying the parts of myself that make me weak.
Because you are weak.
I am weak.
But you can be stronger.
I can be stronger.
Who are you now?
The hunter.
Okay, now here's sort of like the conclusion of doing a project like this. I learned a lot in the process. Obviously, I'm sure you can tell the first one is don't go out and make a movie without a finalized story. The very first episode was incredible because I knew all of the beats. While I didn't have a script, I had it all storyboarded in my little storyboard journal, and it really got me from point A to point B in a concise way, which is the next thing to think about. What is your audience's journey? If you can't figure out what an audience is going to experience throughout your film, it's going to be much harder to make a dynamic story.
Whoa! You look so beautiful.
Hey, do we know what we're doing here?
Yeah, Genis is gonna come up behind me and she's gonna choke me.
Making a Hollywood level film can actually be doable so long as you're willing to strip some of the glamorous resources out of the process. Having that picturesque backdrop might be hard to get with a massive crew, but doing it on your own on vacation is totally possible. And the more I strip down my sort of camera set, the better the backdrop and sequences we were able to shoot. And does it make for a higher quality film? I don't think so. You can tell between the difference of our last short film, which was Rogue Wave, which was the budget was $20,000, and this one, which was under $500, there is a quality difference. Rogue Wave is a film I'm super proud of, and I'm very happy we put all of the effort into it. But there are going to be ideas that you have that are just going to be hard to execute with having budget. Even the biggest filmmakers in the world still deal with this. And that's because money goes to concepts that sell. So if you want to just get that idea out of your head, try and strip down the process. Go, can I shoot this blending my strong suits together? Whether it's corporate video meets documentary, or for me, it's documentary meets narrative. And blending things, putting together our strong suits is not only the way we're going to see our originality on screen, but it's going to allow our visions to come to life.
You're right, Zach.
What I recognized in the process of doing this is that the biggest gatekeeper in the success of your career is actually gear. Doing this alone with all of these different stands and lights and all of this stuff took me like 10 times the amount of time to do this than it would out in those big exteriors. Working with natural setups, while it's not gonna look the most pristine, like I was able to bang through coverage, keep our flow state, but as a solo shooter, like doing all this crazy stuff, it makes the shot look Hollywood, but it took us like 4 hours to get, that's what it feels like. Maybe it was like 3 hours to get like 3 shots. So even though they're some of my favorite shots, just put that into account, that it's just gonna take triple or 5 times the amount of time than what it would be with just documentary style. So no lights, just raw dogging it. If you want to learn the practices of doing like hybrid filmmaking and shooting stuff like Echoes or even our bigger film Rogue Wave, you can join the waitlist for 4-Week Filmmaker. We're actually crafting a production module that's just going to be available for you guys. You can join a waitlist to be notified for when it drops. I'm really excited about it. Like, we're cooking up all this cool gimbal stuff and simple lighting techniques, so you don't want to miss out on that. But overall, go out and make the movie, even if you can't access all of the things. After doing this for a long time, the biggest lesson I've learned is the films that don't get finished create more imposter syndrome than the films that do. And making movies that just get out there, that people see, and even if they're bad, is way more satisfying than the unfinished projects that are just in your head that no one's ever going to see. So I wanted to use this as an opportunity to thank you guys for being an audience and watching all the stuff that I make. I really appreciate having this out there. And we've seen this in our 4-Week Filmmaker group. People are now like sharing concepts and scripts in the Discord. And I just want to say, like, community is so important to this process. If you feel like you're lacking that, go out and talk to other filmmakers or submit your stuff to a film festival. Even if it's a free student film thing, meeting other people, having the human experience attached to this outside of all this technology stuff that's overwhelming is really refreshing, and it's how the wheels are going to start turning. So thank you for being my community and my human connection through this digital platform, a space for me to share my stuff. And I'm really happy that we're able to do this thing.